Hey, this is Mira Beck, the founder of Overnight Success Publishing and host of Overnight Success TV. And today I'm here with another episode of Overnight Success TV, interviewing Veronica James. Veronica, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you stopping by. So Veronica is an awesome lady, entrepreneur. You are honorable discharge veteran from the Army.
Yes.
You are a single mom. I mean, you got it all. And I think there are a lot of people that are watching our show that will relate to you. I mean, I can imagine how many single moms that are looking for the next thing and how they can take care of their family, their kids, and all that stuff are out there. And I'm just a big fan of people that really go and make it on their own. They start their own business. They take charge, and they don't just rely on everybody else to hand them something. And so when you and I talked initially, I was like, oh my God, this is super awesome. Of course, you are just business advisor, have an MBA, are you stand-up comedian? Like I don't even know where to begin. So we'll touch on all of this during the show, but I just want to establish kind of the pre-frame the interview and have people understand that this is really going to be a roller coaster because it's like you're doing so many different things that my head is spinning just listening to your story. And I think that, if you're watching the show, just stick around because you're up to something awesome. So Veronica, first of all, where did you come from? Where did you grow up? What's kind of your backstory? Where did you?
Okay, so I was born in New York, or actually I was born in Utica, New York, which they say, oh, that's not New York, but it really is. It's upstate New York. And I grew up mainly in New Jersey because my mom married a wonderful person who was my father, and he raised me in McGuire Air Force Base. He was in the Air Force at the time, and so we moved a lot. And eventually we went overseas and traveled there and came back and lived in several different states, and we ended up here in Florida.
That's cool. So really interesting upbringing. I know there's a lot of people saying that it's awesome to be a child of a military person that travels around because you can actually experience the cultures around the world. Right. On the other hand, some people would say that the stability is not there, and there's a lot of the advantages and disadvantages. I would say is that at least the feedback I'm getting, but. I'm sensing that in your case it wasn't a bad thing because you got exposed to probably so much before you were even 14, 15.
Yes.
That I'm sure that all those experiences helped you to be more independent and where you are. So while you were in the military, you shared with me that you took advantage of a lot of the opportunities to get higher education and all that stuff.
Right.
So what have you accomplished during your military years?
So while I went in, I did my 9 years. I did the original 8 years, and then I was extended because I went over to Iraq. But during that time frame, I was able to get my master's degree. I used that and applied it for my, even starting my business up. I was like, okay, look, I need to use what I learned and make it, successful for me. So it was nice, like you're saying about there's advantages and disadvantages. I'm a butterfly, a social butterfly, and my son, he gets it from me too. But it was always nice just traveling around and meeting new people, and I like to keep connections with people. So it was interesting meeting you and hearing your story. I was like, wow, like he has a background, a background too, and everybody has something where they came from and how they grew. And being in the military definitely gave me the opportunity to speak to people freely and communicate with them and make different connections and interactions with them. So I enjoyed it, and it's been very useful for me. I'm still friends with a lot of people I was signed up with, and we're still like the best of friends. We still get together and talk, and our kids are friends, and it's like an ongoing family.
Yeah.
So
you got honorably discharged from the military.
Right.
And then you told me that you went to work for a VA, or did you start a business right out of that? There was some time in between, right?
There was time in between, yes. I came back from Iraq, and I had my son and my wonderful 12-year-old. And after I had him, it took a couple of years before I actually got into the VA system. It took quite a few years, actually. I applied several times, and then I finally was accepted. I'm currently still at the VA, but I'm transitioning out of that so I could be full-time entrepreneur.
That's awesome. Cool. Yeah. So how did you come about starting Simpli Wisdom? Because that's your company, that's your business. You make a homemade body butter,
Yes,
right?
yes, body butter,
So
lip balms.
tell me about how did you get to start a company, and then maybe we can you can share with our viewers what is it that you actually make.
Yes, so I started the business actually 6 years ago with another friend. We started it with a different business name. We kind of took on the business of a person that was shutting their business down, and it was bananas. You know, everybody thinks that, oh yeah, well, if you're getting a lot of product and a lot of order, you're making a lot of money, but if you're not having enough sleep, and if you don't have enough time to focus on the product itself, and you don't have enough time to place the orders and fill them, then it can be out of control. So I stepped back, kind of washed my hands to it, and I said, you know what, I need to start over, refocus, and figure out what it is that I want to do that's going to be fun and, you know, still enjoy doing it and not take as much of my time. Now with my son being of age, he's been helping me the last 3 or 4 years with labeling, and he knows how to, you know, make the product himself. And I sit back and watch him, and I love it, you know, but it's something I enjoy doing. It's very calming. You know, like some people burn candles for calming. I go and make my body butter, and I make my lip balms, and you know, that's just something that I enjoy, and I just kept doing it, and I talk about it to everybody that I meet. I give people samples. I don't mind letting people try stuff and, you know, say, hey, feel this. You know, let me know how, you know, try it for a good week and let me know how do you think it feels on your skin. And I just kept with it.
That's awesome. So take me back to the beginning of this business, because you said you have to basically restructure everything and restart over, and you could have gone 2 different ways. You could have said, okay, it's not working, I'm just gonna kill it. Or you decided to actually change things up and make it work. And a lot of times people just give up too early, right, on things. So what kind of challenges were you dealing with in the beginning, and how did that part go? Because it took me 2 years when I started my own business to go through a lot of the mistakes. And about 2 years later, I finally realized I'm in, you know, marketing of my own business, not really in the business of making videos, and, you know, doing your website and accounting and dealing with all the things surrounding a business. That people get discouraged, you know, at many times, and that's why the statistics, like 80% of businesses supposedly fail the first 5 years. So there is really, or the first year, I think even, so it's even worse the first 5 years. But tell me about some of the challenges that you've been through.
Okay, I've been through several challenges, but mainly the bumps and the hiccups were time. It all went back to time. But for me, instead of giving up was not an option. I just had to restructure, because I need to make sure I'm finding customers that want something that's natural. They want something that's, you know, made from handmade, you know. They want to be able to say, oh, okay, this person knows what they're doing, and they know what the process is, and they're taking the time. Like, you can throw anything together and make it, but it doesn't mean it's going to be a good product. So I took the time to do that. I took the time for packaging. I didn't want to be like everybody else. So many different people tell me, oh, you should try this or you should try that. I need to do what works for me. And then ultimately it's going to be better for the customers as well. So taking the time to look at those things, helping my father when he had his own business with bookkeeping really helped out with my business, because I was able to keep track of my books, and I know what's going in and what's coming out. It's given me the opportunity to expand with other customers and let them know, hey, this is why I have, suggest this product to you, because a lot of people have purchased this one. So just taking the time to really focus on the products themselves, and then it was the spinoff, doing the marketing, making sure I'm in front of everybody and talking to them and letting them know, hey, I'm available, and yes, you can order online, and hey, I'm going to these events if you want to come and try it for yourself, because you can't. I have the type of product you can't try it online. You have to actually purchase it. But I do give people the opportunity to try a sample. You know, I'm like, hey, you could try a sample, see how you like the texture, how it feels. My sister, she's a vegan, and she was like, you should try to make vegan butter. And I was like, oh, okay. So I tried it, and everybody in the vegan market fell in love with it.
That's awesome.
So I just, it's a learning curve, but I always had that entrepreneurial spirit about me. I said, I have to be in charge. I have to be my own boss. And I'm teaching that to my son too. So, you know, now he knows, like, oh, I can make decisions and choices, but I know I have to take steps, and that's the main focus, is like taking the steps to do it, actually making a business plan and executing it. So that's where I started, and I'm in the full swing of things right now.
I love it. And then with your product here, you know, these sample sizes, I mean, they're pretty awesome. So you can obviously afford to send it out to people and have them try it out. We can probably show it right here. But this could really apply to any business that has something to either try or test, or
Right.
there's maybe entry-level thing. Like, really, I think that, no matter what business you're on, even like the big, car companies or dealers, you go and test drive the
Right.
car, right? You don't really buy
Exactly.
it online unless it's like a, Tesla Roadster that, is gonna get sold out before people can even buy it.
to
But
get it right.
so, with video production, I can get people in to shoot one short video to get taste of of the process, and then
Right.
they can come back for more if they want to. So really, just about any business can benefit from the experiential
Right.
process. And I like, when you show me the product, I love it. It would be probably uphill battle to try to sell the giant, containers of your product if people couldn't
Right.
try it.
They can try it first.
So I love how you focus on the product.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing that I've learned, in business is if the product is no good, why are you even in
Right.
the business? I mean,
Right.
that's crazy how many times people really, throw something out there and it's good is good enough type thing.
Right.
And I see it every day in the video production world. Everybody that can, point a camera somewhere suddenly is in business of
Right.
recording videos or taking pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a wild, wild west out there for sure. So focus on your product. I love the profit. Marcus Lemonis, who is I think he's the CEO of Camping World.
Right.
And I love watching the shows, and it's, he's got the product is one of the 3 Ps that he focuses on. And sounds like that's, one of the, I guess, takeaways from
Yes.
you is making the product so good that you can really talk about it passionately.
Right.
You're not afraid to let people try it, and you just love making it. And
yes,
I mean,
definitely.
the passion that I feel from you speaks for itself.
Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome. So now you have an awesome product. You're, outgoing lady, so you go out and you promote it and get it on
Yes.
people's hands. Anything else that maybe any other hiccups, anything that happened that would fall under the learning experiences
Yes.
During the process?
Well, definitely, and this is still kind of a hiccup. Even though I've been doing this for 5 years, the shipping thing.
Logistics and
The
all that,
logistics
yeah.
of that is definitely a problem. I'm trying to fine tune it. After speaking with you and coming up with some ideas, I'm going to revisit that because I was like, oh, that's a good idea to do, free shipping after this, because people will purchase, like it's Christmas time
Yeah.
right now, this time of the year. And with people making purchases, they're buying in bulk.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is great, but I want to give them something free too, and free shipping would be perfect at this time of the year, or different times of the year. If there are people that are coming back and they want to be a part of the team, and they're just constantly buying stuff, and they want to see what the next sample is going to be, or the next scent. Yeah, I want to give them something too,
Yeah.
So I like to give free stuff away. Usually when people buy something from me, they might have not tried my lip balm, so I'll throw a lip balm in there
That's
just for
cool.
them to try that too. Give
Yeah.
them the opportunity to try the different products, and that's what I do. But I want to move more into that because that's definitely a hiccup for
Yeah.
me with the shipping.
So a couple things jump out. Number one, for example, trying the free shipping with order over a certain amount,
Right.
you are taking away another objection as far as the shipping cost goes,
Right.
right? So you can have it built into the product cost,
Right.
but now the perception is they're getting something free,
Right.
and that kind of takes care of one of the issues, one of the objections. And the second thing that you just mentioned is letting people, over delivering. So giving them the extra thing that they didn't expect.
Right.
Because I don't know what your cost is on one little lip balm, but I guarantee you people have perceived value probably higher than your cost is.
Right.
And it just makes for great customer service. Like
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of times I buy equipment from companies and they send me a little candy or something in the box.
Right.
You open it up, the first thing you see is something that you didn't even expect.
Right. Right.
Right? So I think that, again, like just about any business could benefit from doing something above and beyond, and
Right.
over-promising and over-delivering.
Over-delivering, yes.
Not under-promising and over-delivering.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I love it. So you're doing a lot of things really, really great, and I hope the new ideas will work out for you as well.
Yes. Thank you.
Right now, you are 5 years into it. Let's talk about some, maybe challenges when you're taking it to the next level. So just like, a lot of us, we start a business and it's you. You are the the owner, the provider of the service, the marketer, the salesperson, all those hats, right? So now I know that you're looking for like a retail space, and you know you're expanding. So is there anything that you can share with some of the stumbling blocks, if you will, that are related to expanding the business and taking it to the next level out of your house?
Yes. Well, the problems I'm facing right now is locations, and just trying to find the right amount of real estate and the location of people where people can come in and say, oh, I can actually drop by there and pick it up. Again, dealing with shipping, so I like that too, especially for the locals. But for people that are out of town, they're still going to order it online. But that has been a hurdle because I do want to go forward and I do want to be able to offer that service. And I work with a lot of other vendors and business owners that make handmade products. So it'll give them the opportunity to also put their, shelve themselves someplace. Because it's hard, like it's a struggle when you're trying to put your product in front of big name stores and you're cutting through all this red tape and you finally think like, I got it, I'm there. I got the last piece of tape to cut, and then there's like a wall there and then you're blocked. So, I think it'll be opening up an opportunity for other people. And like you said about customer service, I'm all about customer service. I love to give and I love to provide. But at the same time, I want people to be able to expand as well. So I'm opening the door for them, and in the long run, it's going to be helpful for the community. For sure. So that's what it's a hurdle for me right now. But I'm pretty good at hurdling stuff. So I'm just going to jump it and keep going to the next thing, and I'm going to get there. So that's what I'm looking to do. Yeah.
So share with us some things or marketing strategies that work for you. And I already kind of heard you say that you have strategic partners, you call them affiliates,
right?
People that can cross promote you, sell your product, and then you're gonna sell their product maybe at your new location. So someone who is in a business, it doesn't have to be homemade body butters, but someone who is in a business where they need this connection, they do booths and trade shows and things like that. What kind of marketing strategy would you say is kind of like the top 2-3 things that you do that really work well?
One of them would be being personable. You have to get to know your audience, and the best way to be a good salesperson, a good saleswoman, salesman, is to be able to know who you're selling to. Gotcha. You can have 1,000 different products, but if you're not getting the right fit for that person, they're going to walk away. And then everything is not for everybody, and you have to understand that too. So, like you said, I can have several different people that I'm affiliated with because they are cross. One of the people that I use is affiliated with me is Hip Candy waist beads. That has nothing to do with body butters, but the way she does her marketing and how we work together is she's like, look, you can feel sexy in your skin applying this body butter, and you could put these waist beads around your hips, and and it works. And people, they're like, oh, I want the body butter and I want the waist beads, and it's just about how you're able to deliver the deliverance, but also trying to figure out like the fit, like where you fit in. Everything's not for every market. People wonder, well, how are you affiliated with Wedding Envy with a wedding service? And I'm like, no, because people want to do different things for weddings. They don't always want the candy. They don't always want the jewelry. Sometimes you want to give something personal to them. And the fact that I make my own labels and do my own things with my business, I can make something saying, congratulations to, or thank you from Mr. and Mrs. and put the names on there. I can do all those great things and make it personable. So those are some of the things that I like to focus on as far as the marketing part is finding out where my niche is and how it could be different and how it can be applied to whoever I'm working with. So
to sum that part up, what I'm hearing you say is know your own customer, and in the marketing world we like to call them the avatar, like who is your customer. So instead of making a million different flavors and scents and whatever, you survey your customers, you get feedback from them.
It's very important.
And they will tell you what they want. And always ask people, your customers, what they want, and then give them what they ask for. That's the easiest way to make business work. So use surveys, use samples. These 6 samples that you send out, it's so much easier for somebody to pick one, and
Right.
then you send them big jar.
Big jars, right.
And they already know they like it because they tried it, because you send them the small sample.
Exactly.
It's so cool. So get to know your customer and start thinking, that's the second thing I got out of this, is start thinking about, start thinking outside the box.
Right.
You know, instead of just being so pigeonholed into the same industry.
Exactly.
Like you're saying, just see who else
Who else
somehow
can I fit in with this?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So yeah, I think we're already getting a pretty long list of awesome advice here. So that's pretty cool. Now let's shift away from the product. Actually, you know what? If somebody wants to actually try it, let's
Right.
just plug you in a little bit.
Okay.
So where can people go to get the sampler so they can kind of get started with you and,
Absolutely.
and actually test it?
They can go to Simpli with an I, so it's Simpli Wisdom, WISDOM.com. That is the website. Or if you're on Facebook, you can go to Simpli Wisdom on Facebook, or you can type in body butter on a budget, all one word, and the website will come up on there as well. And you can order the sampler. It's a great way to start and see if, you know, which one's going to be your favorite sample. You go through there, there's so many people I meet and they're like, I like all of them. I'm like, that's wonderful, you know, so I'm like, I'm glad you like all of them. It's not a bad thing, you know, they're like, oh, I know, but I have to pick at least one. I'm like, well, start with your favorite. And they're like, they're all my favorites. So it's kind of funny,
Sure.
you know, when I talk to them, but if they go to the website and they order the sampler set, they're able to go through and pick which ones they like, and then they can go from there, make an order.
That's awesome. Yeah, definitely go try it. We always like to support local businesses and kind of, you know, spread the love. So go ahead and give it a shot. I don't think there's any downside. And it's for men and women, right?
Yes.
It's for both.
It's for men,
So,
women,
yeah.
babies, grandma, grandpa. Everybody can use the product. You know, you can apply it everywhere from head to toe, anywhere externally. You can use it in your hair if you have natural hair. People that have nice and poofy hair, they want a little bit more control to it. They can put the body butter on there for controlling situations. Dry elbows, cracked feet. You know, I'm not no doctor, so I can't say, oh, this is going to help cure something. But a lot of people, returning customers, come to me because their family members have eczema, and they said that it works good for them with the eczema. So, you know, I tell people, you know, try the sampler. Try a little sample, see if you like it, see how it works for you, and then go from there, you know.
That's
but it's
awesome.
definitely something that's worth trying.
That's really cool. So let's shift away from the product and let's talk about you and your growth. So tell me about some books that you've read or mentors that you followed on your journey to your success.
So I'm not a big reader, but I do go through and I read a lot of blogs. My son actually got me into that. He was like, oh, Mom, I read this great blog on such and such. So I go through and I see what's happening, what's in the now. There's always something happening on a regular basis, and I check blog stories daily. So with my process, if I'm trying to look on how to market better, then I'll go and read some of the new marketing tips. It seems like every day there's something new that's coming out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just learned how to master this one. It took me like 2 weeks, and now there's something different. So, but it's fine, you know, it's always a growing thing, and I like the growth. And so for me, I'll sit there and I'll talk to different people. There's two wonderful women that I've been working with within this last year. I have not yet to meet them face to face, but we've done, one of them I did a podcast with. That was August Crenshaw. She is great. It's August with the E, if you're looking her up. She's wonderful, and she is a wonderful coach and mentor. She keeps everything real. I think she goes by Real, Raw, and Relentless. And she is straight to the point. She's very forward. I can bounce ideas off of her. I like working with people that you can talk to and they don't try to use you for something. Because if you're talking to somebody saying, hey, I was thinking about doing, and they're like, oh, no, that's a horrible idea. And then they come out and they publish something later. And it's like, wait, I was just talking about that. So she's not that type of person. And then Stacey Walker is another wonderful person that I usually talk to. And I've been talked to by her and coached by her. Great woman. She gives you very uplifting stories. She has something that you can fall back on, and we relate in a lot of different ways. Being parents, both of those women are mothers, and not that they're single parents, but they had their own journeys, and so we can relate to one another. And I love their support. Like I said, I haven't physically met them, but I look forward to meeting them in the future. I think August just moved to Georgia. I said, you're not that far away now, so I will be coming to see you in 2018. But just great a great resource. I think everybody needs that support system.
Yeah.
And my support system is my family, but because I start there first. You know, I start from home, that seed. And talking about seed, there's Angelica Cole. She's the seed sowing sister. I love her as well. She's a radio host, and she is just a joy to talk to. She gives you uplifting motivation, stories. If you're a little bit lost or confused, you can talk to her at any time. I try not to be disrespectful with people's time, because time is money. And you know, if you're not working, you're sleeping, and if you're not sleeping, you're thinking about working. So you know, it's always something. But those people have definitely helped me. But my son really turned me on to, like, you know, because I don't want to have time really to sit down and read a whole bunch of different books. Now I have a lot of different books at home, like for marketing and strategy and strategizing and you know, successful this and this. But to me, if I could look at something really quick and get the gist of it, I'm like, okay, boom, I got it, you know, because I'm a quick learner. So, and I like that about myself, because if there's something that I see going wrong, then I usually try to adjust really quick, and then I'll snap back, okay, let me try this again, you know, until I get it right. And I'm real precise when it comes to my product, and I want to be able to deliver something really good to people. So I don't want them to be like, oh, this was good, but this, you know, you can't please everybody, but if there's something they say that is a suggestion, I would definitely try to take that and be like, oh, let me tweak this so it could be better. And that's what I do. So I know I kind of went around in a circle, but
no, I think it's great
that's
because,
what I do.
you know, people give us great book advice here, and I love books and read a lot of them, a lot of audiobooks because, you know, traveling schedules and stuff. But I love the idea of the blogging, because typically the blogger probably read a book and now they're just kind of pulling the meat from the book and blogging about it, whatever. Watching some of the TED Talks, which is, you know, 15-minute little video on one topic, and they, you know, they expand on that. So I actually like that idea. It's kind of like the Cliff Note version of a book.
It's very helpful.
Yes, and plus, like you said, everything is changing so fast.
Yes.
So, you know, you can really get, if you get some news feed or some blog feed, notifications, whatever, you can get the information as it's happening. Yep. And then implement it. So yeah, if you're super busy juggling all these different things, this is actually a phenomenal advice. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem.
And you know, assuming that your business probably wouldn't be where it is if you didn't have the mentors around you and these people that can give you advice and look at your situation from different perspective. Right. And you know, it's really important to have a mentor, no matter whether it's your family or somebody that you know, somebody that you trust, someone who you are willing to take advice from. Right, exactly. Because a lot of times you don't want to take advice from your spouse. Exactly. Or, you know, people that are too close. Not all advice is good advice, as they would say. So, you know, just be careful with that, and have somebody to hold you accountable and somebody to motivate you and do all that. What's your why? Why do you do what you do? Why? My why is honestly just to be independent. My why is for my son. I want him to know that he doesn't have to work those 12-hour shifts. He doesn't have to beat his head up against the wall trying to get promoted. I want to be able to show him a different way. And so my why is him. I let him know, like, I have him helping with the business. He's been helping me for like 4 years, you know, and now he's gotten so good at it, like he can do it in his sleep. And I'm like, hey, we got these orders to fill. Okay, I got it. You know, like but for me to show him a better way and to show him, his dad says, oh yeah, you have a silver spoon in his mouth. I was like, no, I don't. He works hard for what he gets. Everything that he has and everything that, you know, he doesn't just get them because he wants them. And he has everything that he needs, and he has the basics. But if he wants something extra, you have to work for it. And I'm showing him that this is the real world. You know, I was a strict, I'm still strict with him when it comes to school. When growing up, he was in elementary school, and they want to give stickers, and I'm like, no, don't give him those things. They're like, oh, well, he can't be the only child that doesn't receive them. I said, but that's not the real world. You're not going to benefit for something that you do that you're supposed to be doing. You know, so my why is to let him know that, hey, you could be independent, you could be strong, and you can go out there and conquer whatever it is that you want to conquer, but you could do it for yourself. You know, and he sees me doing it, and he's like, yeah, my mom is great, and I'm a part of that, you know, so it makes him proud. It makes me prouder to see that he's following my footsteps. Like I told him, he doesn't have to, you know, go on and be a Simpli Wisdom owner or anything like that. But at the same time, he doesn't have to struggle either. He'll have his mindset on, okay, what is it that I'm going to do for myself, and how am I going to go about doing it? It's about planning and preparing. And so that's my why. That's really awesome. And these days, you know, kids are so overwhelmed by information, and you know, most of the times you see a kid, it's usually something in their hand staring into a device, and they just don't have that anymore. You know, like we used to have growing up, where you experience some hard work, and you have to work in the summer, you know, to have a summer job to make something. And maybe it was, you know, every generation is different.
Right.
We didn't have all those devices. We didn't have all those distractions.
Exactly.
So it was different time for sure. And everybody, you know, every generation has their own stuff. The next one will have something, who knows what.
Right.
But, and it's nice that he actually is already recognizing the opportunity and the stuff that you do for him too, because a lot of times at that age, you know, the kids don't really see it yet.
Right.
They may look back one day and say, but sounds like that your son's been doing it for long enough that he actually sees what you're doing and appreciates it already, which that obviously probably makes you feel really great and energized, and makes what you do worth it, right? The last thing I'm going to ask you, and maybe it will tie right back to the previous question, but everybody has a different definition of success. And also on this show, because it's an Overnight Success TV, I always like to ask people what their personal definition of success is. What does success mean to you?
Okay. To me, success means when you don't have to worry. And I say that in the sense of when you're doing something and it's something that you enjoy doing, like to me, this is not work. Like, to me, it's very calming. I enjoy what I do. I can go home. I can have a bad day at my full-time job and come home and know that I have orders to place, and it puts a smile on my face. Knowing that, you know, I don't have to worry about my next things. If I lose my job, I have something to fall back on. Now, the only thing that would be scary for me is if we turn to zombies and nobody has any skin, and then they will put no body butter on it. But other than that, like, my worry is not having, my success to me is to have everybody know about Simpli Wisdom body butters. If you've heard of it, if you've seen the logo, you see the swan, even if somebody just brings up the word Simpli Wisdom and they're like, oh, I know that product, you know, or I've met the owner, because I'm not the type of person, if somebody's walking up to me like, oh, you're Veronica, you're the swan lady. They call me the body butter lady, they call me the swan lady. But so when they see me and like they're starting to recognize me outside of, you know, just my local area where I live, that's a very successful feeling. And just not worrying about, okay, well, this is not working, you know, because, you know, with business, there's ups and downs, and there's the coming and the going, but at the same time, I'm just constantly at it. And because I'm constant and I'm going to be persistent with just keep moving forward, that to me is like, okay, then you're being successful.
That's so cool.
That's what it means to me.
So somebody's watching this show, single mom, at a job maybe she doesn't like, or with no job, looking to start something, has some passion somewhere inside trying to make it come out and do something. What kind of advice would you give to someone like that?
I tell somebody like that, trust your heart. If you know that you have a passion for something, there's so much information out there. If you have kids, they could probably help you look for the information because that's what they do. Like I said, my son was telling me about the blogging, and I was like, okay, you know, I don't really have time. He's like, no, Mommy, it's really quick. But if there's a passion that you have and you know that, you know, I'll be really good at doing this, I'll be great, I'll be successful at this if I was doing it, take that leap of faith. I wouldn't say just leave your job right away. Right now I'm working a full-time job and I'm doing my body butters, but I'm transitioning into being a full-time entrepreneur. But you have to have that passion and that drive to say, you know what, I want to do this. I know that I will be successful, and this is why I'm going to do it, and then do it. Don't let nobody stop you and tell you, oh, that's crazy, or why would you think that would be the best thing for you to do? Have a plan and stick to it. And if you do that, then you'll go back to what you just said, you'll have your success. Like you said, everybody has their own definition of it, but when you have that fire in you and it's burning, you're like, you know, I have to do this, then you're gonna be like, okay, I did it, and then you're gonna wanna do more of it because you're doing it for yourself, and you're doing it for your family, and you're doing it for your kids, and you can have that push to be like, okay, this is it, and let it go, let that fire out, and just burn.
That's awesome. Veronica, thank you so much for joining us on the show. I think this was really inspiring. I'm inspired just by talking to you, so hopefully the people watching the show are as well.
Thank you.
And for you watching this show, just like I always say, do something, implement something that you've heard on this show. Otherwise, Veronica and I just had fun over here chatting with each other. But if you don't implement, you're not gonna benefit from it. The difference between success and failure is implementation. So doing something with the information is super important. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. I'm looking forward to our next week's interview. Until then, wake up and be successful.